Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're diving into something pretty fascinating, actually. It's this global entrepreneurial phenomenon, Shark Tank, but specifically Shark Tank Nepal. Sir, if you know the show, you know the drill. Entrepreneurs pitch ideas to, well, powerful investors, the sharks. And our mission today, it's really to give you a shortcut to understand these 5 key people holding the purse strings, the sharks themselves.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here, I think, is that looking at these investors, it gives you this really unique lens into Nepal's economy, like where the growth sectors really are.
Exactly.
It's not just, who has the money. It's about how that capital and their expertise is actually shaping the country's future, where the real opportunities might be.
Absolutely. So, yeah, our goal here is to introduce you to each of the 5. We'll look at their businesses, maybe touch on estimated net worth where possible, and definitely the specific know-how they bring. It's about getting you that kind of inside look at who these players are, what makes them tick, especially, within Nepal's own economic story. So let's start with a really foundational figure. First up is Hemraj Dhakal. He's the co-founder and managing director of IME Group. Now, IME Group, it's not just a big company, it's huge in terms of its impact on daily life in Nepal. They pretty much dominate the remittance market.
Crucial.
Yeah, absolutely crucial, especially for all the Nepali migrant workers sending money home. That's a massive part of the national economy. But IME, they're also into banking, healthcare, education, tourism, even digital finance. It's quite the empire.
It really is.
And while exact figures are, kept private, IME's market leadership, it strongly suggests Mr. Dhakal's profile is, well, likely in the hundreds of millions USD. High net worth, for sure. So how does that background, specifically dominating remittances, how does that shape his view as an investor in the tank? What's he looking for?
Well, that's spot on. His shark-focused industry, as you might call it, is definitely fintech and remittance. And his real strength as a mentor, it's all about scaling those kinds of financial services, those digital platforms. He knows that inside out.
Right.
So he's not just looking for a neat idea. He wants businesses that can plug into or maybe even shake up that whole digital financial system he understands so well. And because remittances are just so fundamental to Nepal, Dhakal isn't just investing in tech for tech's sake. He's looking for things that could genuinely lift communities by making that money flow better.
Okay, yeah.
So you'll probably see him really grilling people on scalability, on how efficient their operations are. We've seen that already in the promos in early episodes, right? On pitches around fintech, education, remittances.
That makes total sense. Real world impact, efficiency.
Yeah.
Okay, so from the, let's say, financial arteries of the nation, let's pivot. Let's talk about building the physical framework. Our next shark is Cabinet Shrestha, the managing director of Agni Group. Now, Agni Group, they're a real powerhouse in Nepal's industrial growth. We're talking power generation, infrastructure, engineering, even FMCG goods.
Fast-moving consumer goods.
Right, the everyday stuff. So they're involved in, literally building the foundations of the country. And given just the scale of Agni Group's projects, Mr. Shrestha's net worth, again, estimates put it in the multi-tens to maybe hundreds of millions USD range. So what's the implication of his focus? Infrastructure, energy.
Yeah.
What does that mean for Nepal's development?
Yeah, for Mr. Shrestha, it's clearly infrastructure and energy. That's his zone. And his mentor strength, it's about getting things done. Project execution, building those industrial partnerships. These aren't just, random sectors. They are absolutely the bedrock for any real economic progress, especially in a developing country like Nepal.
Yeah.
Totally. He's looking for ventures that can either fit into the big projects already happening or maybe create new efficiencies in essential services like power. His expertise is incredibly valuable for any business trying to build something substantial, something core within the country's industrial fabric. He'll be looking hard at long-term sustainability, operational strength.
Right. It's easy to just list these big companies, but yeah, there's a whole journey behind them. Risks, breakthroughs. Okay, so from heavy industry, let's shift again to someone with a really diversified portfolio, Saurabh Jyoti. He's a director at Padma Jyoti Group. And his footprint, it spans so many sectors. It kind of tells a story about where Nepal's economy is going, doesn't it?
It really does.
They're into steel manufacturing, consumer electronics, renewable energy, solar, specifically real estate, hospitality. It's quite the mix. These investments, manufacturing, energy, put his estimated net worth pretty comfortably in the high million USD range. What's the common thread there, do you think, across all those different investments?
Well, Saurabh Jyoti's focus, you could say, is manufacturing and energy. But his mentor strength, what's really interesting, is this lean towards green tech and local production.
Ah, okay.
So his move towards green tech, towards local manufacturing,
Mm.
it's not just like following a global trend. It feels strategic, recognizing Nepal's chance to maybe leapfrog some older industrial models.
Right. Skip a step.
Exactly.
Hmm.
He seems to be looking for ventures that can use Nepal's own resources, its growing talent pool, to build sustainable, future-focused industries,
Right.
not just copying what others have done. And it's interesting, he did one of those Day with Shark profile videos, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, I saw
Yeah, it
that.
gives you a bit of a peek into his thinking, his routine, how he applies that forward-looking approach practically.
Really interesting how much innovation can be packed into one portfolio. Okay, changing gears again. Let's talk about a leader in a sector we all interact with constantly, Ritu Singh Vaidya. She's the managing director of Voith Toyota Nepal. So she's heading up major players in Nepal's automotive and retail scenes. You've got Toyota, obviously huge, and Voith, which is more engineering tech focused.
Yeah.
Her leadership in these high value areas puts her estimated net worth probably in the tens of millions USD. What kind of insights does her background, retail and auto, bring to the entrepreneurs pitching in the tank?
Well, her focus is clearly automotive and retail, and her strengths. It's all about branding and customer acquisition. That's her wheelhouse.
Okay.
Which means she has this deep consumer-facing expertise that's absolutely vital for any business trying to sell directly to people. She gets market trends, consumer behavior, how powerful a strong brand is when things get competitive.
Yeah, crucial.
So any entrepreneur pitching a product, a service, anything that needs that direct customer connection or a solid distribution network, her input would be gold.
Yeah.
And she's quite visible too, right? In the promos, behind the scenes stuff. And she also did one of those a day with profiles.
Yeah.
Lets you see her approach up close.
Right. She connects the great idea to the actual paying customer. Okay.
Yeah.
Finally, let's round out our 5 sharks with Anand Bagaria. He's the managing director of Nimbus Group. Nimbus is primarily an agribusiness. Think food processing, supply chain, maybe some retail too. These are just fundamentally vital sectors for Nepal's economy. Affects everything from the farm right to the dinner table.
Absolutely foundational.
Yeah. And as a leader there in agritech and food processing, his net worth is likely, somewhere in the mid-millions USD, maybe more. What are the unique challenges or opportunities that his agribusiness focus brings up in the context of Nepal?
And Bagaria's focus is definitely agribusiness. His strength is food processing and scaling up supply chains. And like you said, these are absolutely foundational for any country's self-sufficiency, its food security. In Nepal, where agriculture is still such a big piece of the GDP, he's looking for ventures that can, modernize things, cut down waste, make the whole chain from farm to market more efficient. So any pitch that's about improving food production, processing it better, distributing it more effectively within Nepal, he's definitely going to be interested, especially if it tackles some of the unique logistical hurdles with the terrain there.
Right. Okay, so we've met the sharks individually, but what does this all mean for you, the listener? If you're interested in business, the global economy,
Right.
this panel, wow, they really represent the backbone and maybe the future growth areas of Nepal's whole economy.
Yeah, if we connect this to the bigger picture, you can see how diverse their strengths are, but also how they complement each other. You've got Hamaraj Dhakal with fintech, digital scaling,
Right.
essential for modernizing money flows, especially remittances.
Yeah.
Then Cabinet Shrestha doing the heavy lifting, infrastructure, energy, the physical foundation. Saurabh Jyoti brings manufacturing, plus that really important shift towards green tech. Future-proofing.
Yeah.
Ritu Singh Vaidya has the expertise in actually getting products to people, understanding the consumer.
Market connection.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Anand Bagaria covers those fundamental needs. Agribusiness, food security, foundational for any nation.
Yes.
So collectively, they're looking for innovation, sure, but it seems rooted in sectors that are genuinely critical for Nepal's sustainable development. It's economic independence.
It really is like a cross-section of Nepal's economic engine room. Gives you a pretty comprehensive view of where things are headed. Now, if you're keen to actually see them in action, Shark Tank Nepal airs Wednesdays and Thursdays, 9 p.m. on Himalaya Television HD. The show officially kicked off July 2nd, 2025. And for sort of a deeper dive, you can find highlights, behind-the-scenes clips, including those day with videos we mentioned for Saurabh and Ritu. They're up on YouTube and Instagram.
Yeah, those clips are pretty insightful.
Definitely worth checking out. They give you an even closer look at their business thinking, how their specific expertise plays out when they hear a real pitch. So there you have it. That's the incredible depth of experience and capital sitting on the Shark Tank Nepal panel. Understanding these individuals, It's not just about, who's famous. It really is a key to understanding where Nepal's economy is now and where it might be going.
Which I think raises a really important question for anyone watching or listening.
Hmm.
How might the insights you gain from watching these specific investors evaluate pitches?
Hmm.
How might that influence your own understanding of what it takes to succeed as an entrepreneur, especially in an emerging market?
Hmm.
Like what unique challenges or maybe opportunities might you spot that kind of align with what these sharks are good at? Could even spark some ideas of your own.
Great food for thought. Definitely something to mull over. We absolutely encourage you to explore those questions. Keep doing your own deep dives into business and innovation around the world. Thanks so much for joining us.